Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to That's the Shoot. This is my wrestling show where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. Or, like today, I'll give you my predictions on a WWE event. And what we have next, and what we have coming up, is Halloween Havoc tomorrow. It's going to be insane. Um, they're now starting to put things on Saturday, and now starting to put and I think this is a great thing because they were doing like the Halloween Havocs on Tuesday, and that's not the way to go. If you're gonna do something special, it should be a kind of like a takeover type thing. So there we have it. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna predict their 6 matches. Let's go ahead. Let's get it done. First, in an ambulance match, we have Julius Creed taking on Damon Kemp, and if Damon Kemp wins, Julius's brother Brutus must leave NXT. Now I'm not sure what's going on. I have not seen anything or heard anything if Brutus is leaving or Brutus has like an injury that you know, that's gonna stop him from wrestling or anything like that. I've not heard that, so I don't know what it is going on. But I would think if that's not the case, then why would they have Brutus leave NXT? It just makes sense to have Damon Kemp, to make sure that Julius Creed would win. Damon Kemp took out Roderick Strong, and he did take out Brutus Creed. So, Vince is not there, so this is one of those things where Vince sees something in Julius doesn't see anything in Brutus. So I don't think that's happening. So to me, this seems like an easy one. I think Julius Creed wins the ambulance match, and we're gonna have the Creed brothers continue on in NXT. Or maybe now that I think about it, maybe they think the Creed brothers are good enough to bring them up to the main roster. I don't know. For me, I would say this: if you're in NXT, you stay down at least 18 months. You stay in NXT for at least 18 months. You know, before you would even get before we even start thinking of calling you up. So, especially if you didn't come from like any indies, like Roxanne Perez came from an indie. She was trained by Booker T, who's now in NXT. Go figure. Um, then she went to Ring of Honor. That's Rox C. Uh, so now Roxanne Perez is up in there, and so maybe that's the exception to the rule. Maybe you would like to see her on the show, but I don't know, man. I think um, I think the Creed brothers need to stay down there a little bit longer. So I'm picking Julius Creed to beat Damon Kemp, who is actually the brother of Gable Stevenson, by the way, if you guys did not know. In a spin the wheel, make a deal match, Apollo Crews is taking on Grayson Waller. Now these two have been feuding over the last month or so, as Apollo Crews had his eye taken out, and then they had Grayson Waller do something with his eyes, but his eyes were bleeding or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be an eye for an eye match or whatever it is going to be, but spin the deal, make the deal match. I would think that Apollo Crews coming down. This was again something where he was coming down to, um, he was coming down. I thought maybe to get rid of Vince or something like that. Not get rid of, but to get away from Vince. But now that Vince is gone, you would think that he would be something that would, someone who would be needed on the main roster. But maybe he's gonna stay down in NXT. Who knows? Um, Grayson Waller, um, he seems to be a guy who they want to be one of like the top heels, but he loses a lot for someone who they want to be a top heel. But he gets heat, so I guess Grayson Waller can be one of those people where like he can beat, but he's still gonna get heat. So I don't know what the match is. I don't know what's gonna happen in this. So from just the standpoint of who probably needs it more, I'm going to say Grayson Waller needs it more. So I'm going to choose Grayson Waller to beat Apollo Crews. Now, this is also another spin the deal, spin the wheel, make the deal. I want to say spin the deal so fucking much. This is also another spin the wheel, make a deal match. It's Weapons Wild match. So I don't know, I can't remember if this was a match that was already, that you already spun the wheel and it came up on calling Weapons Wild, or if they're still going to spin the deal tomorrow, spin the wheel tomorrow. I don't know. It's between Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. This past week on NXT, they went to the main roster and picked people to face each other. Cora Jade picked Rhea Ripley to face Cora Jade, and Rhea Ripley won. Roxanne picked Raquel Rodriguez to fight Cora Jade, and she won by disqualification. So I think um, with this happening, I think Cora Jade won the match a few weeks ago after Corey turned on Roxanne Perez. Was it Heat Wave or something like that, whatever it was. So I think this one is going to come down to Roxanne Perez winning, beating Cora Jade, and getting her victory back. So yeah, I'm going to say Roxanne Perez beats Cora Jade, and this actually may not mean it's the end of the story. So, but I'm going to say Roxanne Perez wins. So last month, after helping Roman Reigns retain the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship of the world, Solo Sikoa then went on NXT and beat Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. However, Shawn Michaels, the head of NXT, said that because he wasn't sanctioned in the match, he had to forfeit the NXT North American Championship, which he did. And Michaels then made a fatal five-way for Halloween Havoc in a ladder match. I believe Carmelo Hayes, the former champion, got a bye. He didn't have to qualify. But four others qualified. Those four other men were Oro Mensah, Wesley, Von Wagner, and Nathan Frazier, who had a 2 out of 3 series match with Axiom. And those matches were pretty good as well. So it's going to be these 5 in the ladder match for the North American Championship. This is going to be a spot fest. This might steal the show. It may not. Who knows? But I'm going to say that they're going to give it to Von Wagner. Von Wagner is going to win the North American Championship. I think Carmelo Hayes. I wonder how long Carmelo Hayes has been in NXT, because if he's been in NXT for about 18 months, it might be time for him to start. It might be time for the main roster to start looking at what can we do with Carmelo Hayes, because I think he might be ready. Him and Trick could be a tag team, and then they could split up and Carmelo could be on his own. So, but I am loving what Von Wagner has done the past couple of times we've seen him. So I think Von Wagner becomes the new North American champion. For the NXT Women's Championship, Mandy Rose takes on Alba Fire, the formerly Kaylee Ray. I think this is Mandy Rose. I think, to me, there were a couple of people you would think who would beat Mandy Rose. Cora Jade, but they turned Cora Jade heel. Then at the Worlds Collide pay-per-view, we had the Miko Satomura, but they lost her. They gave it to Mandy Rose. So who's the person who's gonna beat Mandy Rose? I think it's someone. I think it still could possibly be like Nikita Lyons, who's really, who just titillates the juices of every who watches NXT. I just don't know. I don't know who it is, Mandy Rose. I wouldn't think it would be Alba Fire. Not here, not now. So I'm gonna say Mandy Rose retains. I think what we've seen in WWE is that I think there are a few champions who get goals to set, right? We're looking at the Usos trying to get to that number 484 days. That would be November 14th, by the way, Monday, November 14th. That would be the 484th day that they would be the champions, beating out New Day. Although there could be that thing where now they are looking to have the New Day try and stop the Usos from getting to that record, which I think is great storytelling. And whether the Usos get it or not, I would like to see them get it. I think this is a great story to tell between these two, even though we've seen these guys forever. Roman Reigns, I personally believe they're trying to get Roman to 1,000 days as champion. That's May 29th of 2023. That is when I believe after that they would then someone drop the title to Roman Reigns would drop the title to someone. More than likely Cody Rhodes. That's just me. And I think here with Mandy Rose, I think they're trying to get her to a full year as champion before she drops the title. Because her and Toxic Attraction are ready. They are ready for the main roster. They would be perfect to have. They'd be perfect to have. You have them on SmackDown. You got Damage Control on Raw. I think that would be perfect. But again, I think they're waiting for her to get to a year. So I'm going to say Mandy Rose retains the NXT Championship. And finally, the main event, a triple threat match for the NXT Championship. Braun Breaker versus JD McDonough versus Ilya Dragunov for the NXT Championship. Ilya Dragunov showed his face up a couple weeks ago on NXT and inserted himself into the feud between JD McDonough and Braun Breaker. Ilya Dragunov has gotten the best of both guys the last couple weeks, but I don't expect Ilya to get the best of Braun Breaker. I think Braun Breaker retains. The interesting part here is that at the end of NXT, for some reason they had Austin Theory come out and raise his Money in the Bank, cash in. And I'm sitting here and I'm just like, no, listen, you're not gonna do this. No. Listen, I know things change. The way things like this. And I know that with Vince, Austin Theory was getting ready to skyrocket him. Right? He and everything like that. And maybe Triple H doesn't want to do that. Maybe he thinks he's not ready. Whatever, that's fine. But you can easily have him cash in onto Roman Reigns, and just have a match. I mean, and if you wanted to do this, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you have a surprise visit from Roman Reigns on Raw? With him and all the Bloodline members, right? Austin Theory comes down, says, I'm tired of waiting. I want those titles now. Roman Reigns not dressed. He's in his t-shirt, his gym shoes. He's not dressed. He's got a referee. Triple H comes out. He's cashing in. Everybody out of the ring. To the back. Paul, you're the only one who has a manager's license to be out there. You can be out there. But it's Roman Reigns, Austin Theory right now. Have a match. Great match. Have Roman Reigns beat him. And that's how you get rid of the Money in the Bank if you don't want Austin Theory to be a champion, right? But to have him cash in on the NXT champion, I think would put Austin Theory down something where maybe he wouldn't be able to come back from. He's on the main roster. It would be cool to go back and have him go back to NXT where he was in before and be like, yeah. But this would be the second time that he's been brought up to the main roster. First was during the pandemic, and now here, where you now send him back down to NXT. And that's I hope that's not what they're doing. I hope it was just just something for Austin Theory to to have him do, because it was like the AEW Dynamite was on Tuesday because of the baseball playoffs, and It was, they wanted to try to go head to head with AEW in that kind of way. So that this past NXT, none of the main roster people were on there. So maybe that's what they were doing. They were just trying to get some main roster. So like I was saying, they were trying to get people on the, from the main roster to come down there. Maybe to try to beat AEW. It did not work, but they were very, very close in the ratings. So so maybe I'm hoping that's what it was, and I'm hoping they really don't expect Austin Theory to try to cash in on this. I would even think maybe even a failed cash in, or not a failed cash in, but a cash in that doesn't happen. He goes down there and tries, and he gets maybe knocked out by Ilya or JD or something like that, or even Braun Breaker. Even something like that, again, doesn't make Austin Theory look very well. So, Austin Theory, I think, is the future of the WWE, and I don't think you want to try to ruin him. So, at any point, even if he's not, even if you feel he's not ready yet, you know, don't like, don't sit him down to NXT. Keep him on the main roster. So I am picking Braun Breaker with the hope that there is no cash in from Austin Theory. Alright, so let's recap my predictions for tomorrow's Halloween Havoc. Julius Creed, when it comes to Justin, Julius Creed beats Damien Kemp in the ambulance match. Grayson Waller beats Apollo Crews in the Spin the Wheel Make a Deal match. In another Spin the Wheel Make a Deal match, Weapons Wild, Roxanne Perez beats Cora Jade. Von Wagner becomes the new North American champion in a five-way ladder match. Mandy Rose retains the NXT Championship, and Braun Breaker retains the NXT World Heavyweight Championship. So there you have it, my picks for tomorrow night's Halloween Havoc. Make sure you are back here after that when I will recap what went down on Halloween Havoc. So if you have not, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so that when I go live, you and me, we can talk about it. And also, for any other videos I put up on here, for my little shorts and everything like that, you're going to make sure that those come to your phone as well with the notification. So please hit that notification bell. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.